to Loud Poets. Please clap your hands, stamp your feet, and make some noise for your host and compere, Kevin Mclean.
Hello, and welcome to Loud Poets Slam! Oh, that is what I want on a Thursday evening. Thank you so much for coming along for some spoken word poetry, for some slam action, and, missing the England game. Thanks, that's appreciated. Was that not on anyone's list anyway, no? Yes, thank you for making it along on a beautiful evening. This is the Loud Poets Slam. I am Kevin Mclean. I will be your host for this evening. But this is not just the Loud Poets Slam. It is the regional heat for the North in the Loud Poets Slam series. Woo indeed. And it is not just the Loud Poets Slam. We are very, very pleased to be partnering with the wonderful folk at Aberdeen Performing Arts. Big whoop for APA. We have worked with APA before, and we were super excited for this year to be able to work with them on the slams. Some of you might give me a little whoop if you were at last year's regional heat for the North. Mostly poets. Good. They know how this works. That's fantastic. Give me a little whoop if you have never been to a poetry slam before. And you sat down the front. Oh, mistake. Did no one tell you about the wild card round? Where we get audience volunteers up for... You have a poem ready, right? No, don't worry. If you've never been to a poetry slam before, you're not going to be dragged on stage. That's the first thing to know. But I'm here to kind of explain how they work. This one especially because it's part of our wider slam series. So if you've never been to a poetry slam before, it is competitive poetry, which is stupid but a lot of fun. Assigning sort of value to a poem is a weird thing to do, but when you don't do that, less of you show up. So we've decided on that format. But yes, the way it'll work is we have 3 rounds of poetry. We have 10 beautiful poets who are going to all come up to the mic. In the first round, you'll see all 10 poets read. They will have 3 minutes at the mic. Then we will go to the second round where you will have 6 poets. And then the third round where you will have the 3 final poets. And the runner-up and the winner will qualify for the Grand Slam Final. Ooh. Oh, Panto audience. Oh, yes. Some poetry audiences don't get my deep need for crowd reactions. I knew you would do me proud, Aberdeen. Yes. So the Grand Slam Final is going to take place, and we're partnering with the Edinburgh International Book Festival. We partnered with them last year for the Grand Slam Final. This is our second slam series. Last year, like this year, we are doing 6 regional heats. We have been in Dumfries. We have been in St Andrews. We've been in Edinburgh, Paisley, now Aberdeen, and we will round off in Inverness. And we'll take the winners and runners-up from all of those heats, and they'll all come together August 10th at the Book Festival for the Grand Slam Final. The winner of this evening will also win £200, which is pretty cool. If you're not used to poetry events, that's pretty cool. But when they go to the Grand Slam Final, all the winners and runners-up will be competing for £3,000. Fucking right. That's like more than the average poet's annual income. Like, that is a truly extraordinary amount of money in poetry. But fuck the money. The money's not what it's about. And I know what you're thinking. Is it about pride? No. There is one true prize for the Loud Poets Slam series, and that is the magnificence of the Loud Poets Slam Championship belt. Sustained applause are correct. It is the true prize. It's what all the poets are here for, to hold aloft that beautiful belt. I promise I didn't do 2 years of nationwide slams just so I could own a wrestling belt. This is a serious endeavor. But yes, that is how the evening works. But there's one big question. How do we decide what poets go through from the first round to the second round, from the second round to the third round, and eventually who decides who the runner-up and the winner is? Thankfully, not me. I dodged that bullet. I'll be shouting names into a microphone. That's my skill level. We have 3 professionals that we have brought in for the job. So first off, representing Loud Poets, we have the wonderful Bex Bidgood. Bex is one of the team at Loud Poets. I Am Loud Productions. Bex is an amazing poet and a very judgmental person. So, just absolutely tailor-made for this role. Gonna nail it. Open to bribes. There are no rules other than the ones I state on stage, and I've said nothing about bribes. So our second, probably less bribable judge is from Aberdeen Performing Arts. Make some noise for Hanna Louise! Who has been a big part of the Aberdeen poetry scene for a long time, knows their stuff when it comes to seeing some good slam poetry, so she will be an excellent judge as well. And our third judge, who I can't point at because she has another role that I will explain in a moment, is last year's regional heat winner, the fantastic, if you've been to an Aberdeen poetry night, I'm sure you've seen her perform. She is spectacular. Give it up for Jo Gilbert! Jo was the regional winner last year, absolutely smashed it. They went on to the Grand Slam final and had a really, really good showing. I was so impressed. So we are very excited to have Jo as not only the host, but slams are hard. Some people, this is their judge, not the host. I'm the host. And what a host. But yes, Jo will not only be the judge, one of the judges, but will fulfill an equally important role because slams are very difficult. It can be very hard. Some people, this will be their first slam. I know someone in this slam, it's like the second time they've ever performed poems. And when that is then also being judged, that can be quite a lot. Reading poems is difficult at the best of times, never mind in a slam atmosphere. So when we kind of get to the first round, we don't want the first poet to come up to the mic and kind of it be a cold room and they have to kind of set the tone. So Jo is also going to be our sacrificial poet. They are going to come up, warm up the mic, get you guys into the night with some killer poetry, set that bar nice and high for the poets. So that is what Jo's going to be up to. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to read out the list of poets. I read it to them earlier, but I know they have all forgotten. So I'm going to read that list of poets again. This is the order they will be performing in the first round. When I'm introducing you one by one, I'll be letting poets know that they are on deck, which means you are the poet after the next poet. When you're on deck, poets, if you just kind of head round here, the curtain, if you just kind of go to the end of it, you'll see where you can get backstage. My glamorous assistant, Mark Galley, everybody. Have a little fight with the curtain, squeeze through, you'll see the backstage area, you'll be all good. Because otherwise, if you're coming from back here and walk in, everyone's going to have to clap the whole way. It's going to get awkward, it's going to get weird, but we will have to do it. So yeah, when you're on deck, try and get ready. So, the running order will be Aberdeen. I've been doing these slams for 2 years. All I'm asking, one clap at the end of the list of names. Okay? One clap. I believe in you, Aberdeen. The running order will be Nick Bagshaw. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed. Nick Bagshaw, Freya Ewan, Donna Irvin, Melanie Kay, John Boland, Fiona Robertson, Aaron Smith, Shane Strachan, Abigail Underwood, and Rachel Beatty. If you are a poet and I didn't say your name, now's the time to point that out to me. If you're not a poet and I did say your name, this would also be the time to point that out to me. No, we're all good? Fantastic. Guys, that is how the slam works. That's what all the jobs are. I'm the host, they're the judges, they're the poets, we've got a sacrificial poet, it's all going to be wonderful. That is all the structure of the slam. Everyone has a job. You guys, your job isn't to be a poet, it isn't to worry about points, it isn't to stumble your way through hosting a show. No, your job is to worry about having fun, supporting the poets, giving that energy. Like I said, it can be a very difficult thing to do. Poetry, you're going to get the whole emotional spectrum on this stage this evening, I have no doubt. And it's your guys' job to give all the love, all the support to the poets as they come up to the mic. Are you guys up for that? Aberdeen, it's a Thursday night. It's Loud Poets. I said, are you up for that? Woo! Then let's not fuck about. Let's get this underway. Guys, please help me welcome to the stage your sacrificial poet, the spectacular Jo Gilbert!
Not a giant. Good evening. This one is for all the slammers. My naggy, messed up enemy is a turbulent creature. My thoughts are river rapids rushing through at 1,000 miles an hour. It's a running commentary non-stop on everything I do or say or don't do, as the case may be. Holy shit, if I even think about doing something, devil heed will jump on me. It sneers and sees and breathes out hatred. It slags off me and all my mates, clinging on to fears within, lies and wait for just the right bait. And some days it gets me hook, line, and sinker, and other days I can't even get out of bed. You can imagine then the fear when my brain went on fire with a big idea. I think I want to try writing poetry. But not just any old poetry. Oh no, performance poetry, where I'd have to stand up on a stage in front of actual people and speak words that I have written that come from my soul, but the deep part that's hidden from you, from me, well, fucking everybody. And somebody said it was a good idea, and oh God, it has heard you. Run, Jojo, run! A fucking poet? Fucking poetry? You know fuck all about it. Who do you think you are? There's no way you're gonna stand up and spit out your soul. It's strangers you don't even know. I don't think so. That's never gonna happen. They're gonna think you're shit. You are shit. You'll get bottled off the stage. Don't put yourself through that nightmare. Waste of time, waste of space. Nobody would piss on you if you were in fire. There's no point. Put that pen down. In fact, there's no point at all. Just fucking kill yourself. I cannot cut my own head off and leave it behind. So I try not to listen, and I talk, and I talk, and I listen to other people whose heads are like mine. The best way I've heard it described, it's like having the sergeant dude from Full Metal Jacket who shouts things like, "Private Pyle, did your mom and dad have any other children that lived?" Except it's in your own voice, and less funny, but more cruel. But once we find the volume control, we don't have to listen. You can turn that motherfucker down and do whatever the fuck you want to do, and write poems called The Inside of My Head and read them on stage with no shame or fear. Kind of like this.
And you can see why she won last year's heat. It was pretty emphatically. It was amazing. Jo has been such an incredible advocate for this scene, and especially the work they've done in Doric and stuff like that is constantly inspiring. It was amazing at last year's Grand Slam final, because you can't kind of contrive the lineup. You know what I mean? It's who qualified. And it was so wonderful because we had Jo speaking Doric, and then we also had Lindsay Gilmore from Inverness speaking Gaelic, and we also had Susie Briggs from Dumfries speaking in Scots, and having these three people from totally different bits of the scene who do such a good job representing Scots language across the country to be in a room finally together was like such a wonderful thing. If you haven't been, this is you just kind of finding out about this slam series now, please check it out. We have all of last year's slam series up online. You can go and watch all the regional heats, and all the ones we've done so far this year are also up online. This one will be as well up on YouTube and stuff. So you can follow along the whole slam series and see what all these little, regional heats are like, different parts of the country, all doing spectacular poetry. And Jo is a perfect example of that. Another big round of applause for our sacrificial poet, Jo Gilbert. But now it's time for the nitty gritty. Are you guys ready for round one? On deck we have Freya Ewan, but making their way to the stage now, please go absolutely wild for the wonderful Nick Bagshaw!
So this poem's dedicated to that guy at the open mic. I am the man poet. Come one, come all. My words and feelings are absolute. There's no one more insightful or astute. I've got 3 minutes about a girl I shagged who didn't call. Oh. And another one about sporting heartbreak or something. I don't fucking know. Football. I admit it. I cried, but it wasn't campy. Not like she turned out to be trampy, but not in a slut-shamey way. Because I'm super woke. I take drugs and then I tell people about it because I'm super dark. And if you think we've hit our emotional peak, well, I've got daddy issues. It makes me unique. I am the man poet. Come one, come all. My words and feelings are absolute. It's true. So listen now while I explain your feelings to you. I am the only human who's ever truly felt alone. My cap covers my eyes, and I read from a phone, and I can't emote because my dad was made of stone. Like the grinder in my emotional windmills, I do a hand gesture while the rhythm builds. And then when I get depressed, I take my pills and I slow down. Unnecessary pause. I run the rhythm in the ground as I reach to make my penis feel same profound. I am the man poet. Come one, come all. It doesn't have to make sense when I do it because I'm an artist, a fighter, a gangster. Now watch how I hardcore boil this pasta. It's a metaphor for being angry and frustrated. Fuck me, my words are sophisticated. I am the man poet. Come one, come all. My words, my feelings are absolute. And you are all blessed to hear me speak because this is art at its peak.
Was not expecting personal attacks. Okay. Guys, on deck, we have Donna, Irvin, but making their way to the stage. Please go wild for Freya Ewan!
Bit too short for this one. This is called Midnight Musings. When sleep evades, I tend to write. I think that's why my musings are so dark, as if the absence of light permeates my pen and only shadows are found. Or maybe it's because of the nightmares, the creeping unease in the corner of my mind that turn into gruesome figures, phantom shapes of the past brought again to life. It's as if the darkness calls them out, the apparitions appearing from the spaces I keep under lock and key in the day, claws scratching at chains, checking for weaknesses. Even awake, I feel them pacing. They're hungry. I can hear it in their cries, waiting for the eyes to close, to break their bonds, take their pound of flesh. The monstrosities of mankind hiding in memory, anticipating the light's end so they can once more haunt. They know me too well to evade. They clutch onto parts of me I'd rather forget, the times when all that existed was a scared little girl cowering in the dark. Of words that burned into my being, of bruises and broken bones, of hands that took what was not freely given. I know I'm not that little girl anymore, but she still lives inside me. And they can smell the fear that drips in cold sweats as I tangle in sheets and silent screams. So when I wake, I write, to dredge the darkness from my mind, to give it a home on paper rather than my heart, in the hope that one day it'll bleed out completely into the ink, and I will sleep peacefully through the night. Thank you.
Very good, everybody. Exactly what I was saying about slams. If you've never been to a slam before, you're like, you can have two better pieces to exemplify that immediate range you get out of poetry night. I'm so excited for the rest of this slam. There's a bunch of people this evening that I have never seen perform before, and that's the best thing, seeing fresh faces, hearing new voices, and this is one I have never seen perform before, but I'm excited. Please put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Donna Irvin!
This poem was written for my nearly 9-year-old self and my 7-year-old little brother, and it's called Unsaid. And the terrible words our mum can barely say will be left unsaid. Back on our bikes, we'll cut circles through the midges while Dad's shoulders stop mid-heave, head lifts from his slump, the bathroom door unlocks, the phone unrings, his fist ungrips. And the terrible words his old man can barely say will be left unsaid. Dad's insides lurch upwards, like the surge of a lift up 3 floors to the land of the ordinary, where he'll step into the orange light of an August evening, ruffle the dog's ears, swear at the moor, disappear into a day of children's stories, squabbles, lunch, breakfast, and a fine night's sleep. And the cows call mournfully for their calves as cars pass by the junction lined with beach, which leads a long, looping, car-sick journeying under a bright, hollow moon to the flattened roadside weeds where our dad's brother stops burning. And the terrible words his brother's friend can barely say will be left unsaid. As he rides through the broken window, sit by our uncle, who jolts like a puppet up behind the wheel. The windscreen assembles, the bonnet flattens, the chassis unwraps from the ash tree's trunk. Grooves of bark are lit briefly by the headlights, then swim back to show the shadow of a sharp bend. And the terrible last cry that our uncle can barely say will be left unsaid. And his fag is held by his crooked smile, and his fingers lift from their drumming, and his friend turns the volume down on the boss's talking guitar, and hedges rush back along a black night on a red road that lifts the two of them up off leather, whips them up like a laugh, bumping up over the humpback bridge, slower, slower, stop, door slams open, and out the bold heroes stumble to the muggy warmth and light of a last order bell unrung. Darts return to senders, red balls clack, form a triangle, cues separate from their blue chalk hats and line the wall. The welcome, sludding, jeering from Taggart and Big John tighten to polite nods, straight back, sure footing. Spilt schooners leap onto trays, pints filled with amber froth stream up to their taps, and a young barmaid's blush fades. Flirts, propositions, and the terrible jokes the worthies can barely say are all left unsaid. Sunlight through a dreary window lifts smoke, dust layers along the empty bar, and our uncle swaggers out the door, back to the sweet promise of an August evening, into his fast, generous life of rigs, motorbikes, rough friends, belly laughs, school skiving, coal house climbing, to be a wee Wayne, big eyes, lopsided smile, matchstick legs, singing a four-legged flen to his older brother, skipping downstairs in the cowboy hat he'll never take off, even at bedtime. And here I find our Uncle Richard, without the terrible words ahead, and where he lives loudly forever, in the said, in the said, in the said.
On deck, we have John Boland. No, I didn't forget to do the on deck last time. You must not have been paying attention. But coming to the stage right now, please put your hands together and make all the noise as we welcome Melody Kay!
Hi, everyone. This poem is called We Are the Same. I'm angry at your ignorance. I'm angry that we live in a world that sympathizes with the criminal and pays the victim zero interest. I'm angry that you are one of the people who watched the abuse thinking you could make no difference, because there is no contrast to the girls you saw and me as a constitute. Your choice to not see the similarities between us remained resolute. There is no difference in the pain we share, as most similar victims do. I told you to be careful, that I, the fuel, and you, the igniter, yet you continue to build a throne for the abuser who built his worth out of fire and how many lives he could burn, because he knew that none of you would fight for her. Or should I say them? Your ego threatened when the perspective shifted to us women, so you stayed safe in the memorial of what could have been. Yes, let's save him instead of the girls he mistreated. Let's pity him for being held accountable for his terrorism. Let's feel regret because you once held good memories with him. Let's ignore the women who now carry this trauma everywhere with them. Don't give me your sympathy unless it extends to every person who's ever been touched without their permission. And if you have ever experienced this patriarchal mindset condition, I see you, I feel you, I know you, I am you. We are the same. And it's our job to educate so a new perspective can initiate change. Thank you.
On deck, we have Fiona Robertson, but making their way to the stage now after I strong-armed him into doing this slam. Please go wild for John Boland!
Mean. It's time to complete the defeat of porcine profiteers who feed on obscene greed. They breed from marketeers who lead with memes and schemes, insisting on our need for gasoline, adrenaline, and saccharin, project on screen, hypnotic scenes, false promises that offend our basic human decency. In this Anthropocene, we still breed, and raise from seed the staples that we need, draw meaning from defeat, and all the while, our feet march to the beat of their machines, overseen by subroutines. Big data overweens. The sheen of kerosene floats on once pristine surfaces as submarine microplastics choke and genes mutate. Greens fade in heat and internecine conflict follows famine. We need to heed the lessons of this pyrocene and lead as lithic alkenes weep and seep from wells, leap from exhausts and landfills, overseen by racketeers and libertines who sell false hope like methamphetamine. Yes, long chains of cause and effect reach back into the Pleistocene, but we've never seen these temperatures before. It's never been so hot. We've never been so vulnerable. 8 billion of us. It's time to clear the pitch. Be mutineers. Re-engineer and commandeer the future for our children. Call this what it is. Capitalocene.
We have reached the halfway point in the first round. You guys doing okay? Fantastic. We have 5 more poets in this first round. Aaron Smith is the one on deck. But now, making their way to the stage, please go wild for the spectacular Fiona Robertson!
I'm quite short. Okay, I am chronically ill. This is called repetition. I think it will still apply to most people, though. When you have no energy, you realize how much energy it takes to get out of bed and take your meds and brush your teeth and eat your food and brush your hair and drink your water and wash your hair and clean your body and dry your body and put on clothes and clean your clothes and dry your clothes and take your meds and clean your dishes and go to the loo and order your meds and go to the kitchen and pour your water and choose your food and drink your water and sit upright and make your food and brush your teeth and take your meds and clean your face and get in bed. Maybe once you used to do it all without thinking, without weighing the cost, before you add in anything like reading or talking or watching TV or playing or working or writing or knitting or thinking or hoping or planning or holding or making or going outside. So every day you choose which few you can pay for out of the constant repetition of tasks that just won't stay done. Like taking your meds and washing your face and eating your food and brushing your teeth and paying the cost and choosing between and letting it slide and making a life out of impossible choices. Out of this, but not that. Thank you.
Fiona Robertson, everybody! On deck, we have Shane Strachan, but now, making their way to the stage, put your hands together, make some noise as we welcome Aaron Smith!
This is interrupted. I should have been used to it. The band, I caught a random gig and adored their music, dutifully buying the EP and tracking down the follow-up single only for them to disappear without trace, not even having made a suitable impact to warrant whatever happened to in the NME. The comic book, a creator trying something different with a fresh batch of new characters paired with an upcoming artist with a quirky style. I add it to my pull list, only for it to be cancelled after 6 issues due to low sales, with the characters so tied to their creator's style that no other book is interested in using them, letting them fade into trivia history. the TV show, the first series, becoming part of my weekly ritual, eagerly awaited appointment viewing. Once finished, I wait for news on series 2, but it doesn't come. The network opts not to pick it up, not even a DVD to watch back. Everyone has moved on. I should have been prepared. I should have been used to it. That day, when I locked my computer and stepped out of the office to meet you for lunch, the same way as I'd done hundreds of times before, halfway down the road, I get the message saying you won't be there ever again. Hidden drug problem, overdose, gone. I stood there in the middle of the pavement, staring at the small screen, trying to make the words make sense. Not knowing what to do, I walked back to the office. I sat at my desk, staring at a blank screen. Someone commented, "Oh, I thought you were on lunch." I explained. They sent me home. I should have been used to it. But this wasn't the same. You weren't a niche interest. You were surrounded by people who loved and adored you. You're so gregarious and funny. People were always drawn to you. You were talented and entertaining with limitless potential. I wasn't even your best friend, just one of a small group that would meet up for lunch or hang out on a random evening. I attended your gigs. We watched movies, talked nonsense. You encouraged and supported me. You were my friend. And then you were gone. And no amount of fan petitions could bring you back. Thank you.
We are fast reaching the end of the first round. Our poet on deck is Abigail Underwood, but making their way to the stage now, please help me welcome Shane Strachan!
Hi, Abdi. Sorry, I'll just get this puppy. So, the poem I'm going to perform is part of a series of poems about Aberdeen's fucked up relationship with oil and gas. And it's a series of voicemail messages across time for love at first sight back in 1969 up to our present day attempts to break up and turn green. So it's from the voice of oil, and it's called Dreepin'. You have one new message. Message received 14th of September, 1969. Hello, sexy. It's me, your North Sea sugar daddy. Wheat, sweet and fiery, God's gift to modernity. Inch of wind and dinder, just leave your wife behind. Flee to your man-made island and dive in deep beneath. Get yourself siping wheat, seeping, pump them pipelines, dreeping. Mind that time back in 69. Ooh, it was love at first sight, when you drilled me down at the bottom of the deep blue sea. Unleash this genie's tie-dye rainbow, slick o' thick viscous liquid. Me. You watch me undress, witness time decompress, heated, treated, refined. Oh yes. Now I'm here, dinna stress. Just gie your whip a crack, sit back and relax and let this wheat dream licht up Aberdeen like a deus ex machina. A god for the machine, saving the granite city for another tragic scene. But mine had your wished about them little spells and leaks. It's really best we keep at between you and me, if you want me to be your fossil fantasy.
range. Guys, our final poet on deck is Rachel Beattie, but our penultimate poet now making her way to the stage. Put your hands together, make all the noises. Welcome, Abigail Underwood!
Hello? Remember me? Your sexy satin slip of a dress? The one that barely covers your breasts? Yeah, you remember. Do you remember how you felt when you took me home, so full of confidence and willing to throw your libido a bone? What happened to that? It's been 6 months, and the only thing that's been tied up are my price tags in your oversized period pants. Look. I've heard that dating in your 30s is less flirty and more wanna fuck, with aubergine emoji after tongue out emoji after water droplet emoji after big lips emoji after random erect penis. It's enough to make anyone boke. And then when you try and flip the script, it's more competitive than compassionate, with conversations more reminiscent of a bingo hall over who's got it all. Got a full-time job, own my own car, own my own house. And then, when they don't make you feel like the shit on their shoe for deigning to be different and staying off past you outgrew, there's banality after banality until you think you've lost your sanity. 6-minute long voice notes instead of, "Hi, how are you?" Or a list of red flags, do's and don'ts, likes and dislikes until you feel like a shopping list someone's left at home. Now, I know that's why you've left me crumpled in here all alone, but I think it's time I saw the sun. Do you think if I had an inkling of the skin I wouldn't see, I'd have let you wrap me up in tissue paper so easily? I know you're afraid to let a lover raid your cave, but don't let those wannabe stallions book you off course. Take hold of those reins and ride the horse so you can jump over those hump days. And feed the pony, who we both know is chomping at the bit. Come on, we deserve to be seen, the ultimate dream team. It's not so obscene to let this satin gleam with nothing in between those silken legs, waxed in anticipation of climax. Who cares if it's been a while? Stop running a mile in the opposite direction towards an abundance of empty AAA batteries in a centrally dipped memory foam mattress. Let me empower you and your flower, not to cower in the corner. Bloom bright, you sexy, sexy bitch, and rediscover that delightful itch of pitching your person to handsome devils. On dates you'll later rate with your mates as you recall the inches without flinching. You are worth every awkward selfie, every awkward, this doesn't work for me, every dodged bullet, every swipe left, every promise of a gentle caress. Be bold, be strong, and remember, you can always put me back on.
We have one final poet in round one. Are you ready for the final poet? Then let's raise the roof as we welcome to the stage, Rachel Beattie!
I arrived tonight thinking I was just watching. Welcome to my very civilized midlife crisis. With the end of my 40s fast approaching, I find myself developing a new approach to life. May from the outside look like a building of confidence, it's much more a growing sense of just not giving a fuck. When I was about 3, every night, once I had my nightie on, I would stand on the side of the fireplace with a wee microphone in my hand and put on a short concert for my parents. I was destined to be a pop superstar. Just one problem. I was not blessed in the vocal department. So maybe I would be a dancer. Clearly, I had the talent for this. Just didn't develop the right physique for a career in the dance. My ultimate dream job as a child was to be a Muppeteer. or at least work in the creature workshop, but alas, that was not to be either. As a child with what at the time was called specific learning difficulties, the education system soon knocked the confidence out of me. We can skip through the rest. Let's just say working with kids, environmental science degree, marriage, children, boom, middle age. No more need for people pleasing. I learned to say no. I mean, I learned the hard way, but I learned. I learned to love my body. It's complicated. No more worrying what people thought about me. I mean, come on, I'm fucking delightful. But apparently some people found me intimidating. I wanted to be more adventurous. I realized I had things I wanted to say and I wanted to be heard. I went to an open mic night. It was mainly singers. And I thought to myself, what this needs is some spoken word. I wrote a poem. Just one short poem, and the next month, with a gang of friends and support, I did it. I performed my poem, and I loved it. I wrote more, I performed more, I did workshops. I met others who shared my new love. I entered a poetry slam. I write about things I love and things that matter to me, and things that make me angry, and I write to process trauma and get my feelings out and to use my voice. So it's not singing, and I'm not in my nightie anymore. But here I am on stage with a microphone, 50 years old, and loving my midlife crisis.
Rachel Beatty, everybody! I feel Rachel and John deserve extra points for making the mistake of talking to me before a poetry show. Hey, how would you like to be in the slam? No thanks, Kev. Great, I'll just put you on the list. Hey, amazing stuff. Can we just get a big round of applause for all of our first round slammers? It's a kind of very poetic end. It's a nice book sort of ending, like from Joe's first poem to how Rachel rounded it off there. If you have never been to a poetry slam before, if this is maybe your first time because you're a long supporting a pal, first thing, good on you. That makes you very fucking nice. But like, it is a tough thing to do. You're sharing very real stuff. If this is your first poetry night, you might have been surprised by the range that you've heard there. Some very funny stuff, some very emotional stuff, but all of it coming from real people, sharing real emotions. It is a tricky thing to do. And especially in a poetry slam, where that is going to be assigned a score, it is very, very difficult. I hope you guys see the same thing I'm seeing, which is that is an almost impossible fucking thing to judge. How do you pick between any of those poems? Completely different styles, talking about completely different things from completely different people from completely different backgrounds. Assigning a score, I mean, oh, that's their horrible job. But it's very hard. It's super hard to do. So if you don't make it through to the second round, please do not be disheartened. Do not take it as a critique of your poetry. I think everyone was absolutely incredible. That was such a stellar caliber for a first round slam. Give it up again for the slammers. Slams are a great way to get a crowd in and also to give poets a chance to see each other. I remember speaking to poet Catherine McFarlane, who went on to become Scottish slam champion and got the opportunity to go and compete at the World Slam Championship in Paris. Catherine, when she started out in the poetry scene, she was a single mother raising kids. She couldn't go to every open mic night in her scene. So she had to pick which events to go to. And she chose slams because they were an opportunity to progress to another slam, to meet a bunch of different poets in one situation where they were all really going for it. A bit more competitive, sure, but that tends to mean a bit more focused, a bit higher caliber than your average open mic. And that's why she chose to go to those events. And she went on to do incredible things with it. So please, if you don't make it through around the second round, do not be disheartened. She's Scottish Slam champ and she didn't win her first slam. You know what I mean? Like, we've all lost slams. Some of us have been lucky enough to win them. It is a whole range of it. But I was genuinely gobsmacked by that first round. The judges are looking at me very annoyed. So I think they were also a bit gobsmacked by it. It was very good. What we're going to do now to let the maths happen, because we're poets and we should take our time, is we're going to have a little break. You guys can go and grab a drink. If you enjoyed someone's poetry, please go and tell them. That will mean so much more to them than an arbitrary score. It means so much. Poets fueled by validation. Boy, are compliments tasty. So if you liked someone's stuff, they will not be embarrassed if you go and tell them you liked them. So yes, go and tell a poet you like their stuff. Get a drink at the bar. Can we get a round of applause for the beautiful staff of the Lemon Tree? Go and indulge in a libation, have a hug, have a cry, do what you gotta do, and we will see you back here at 2:15 for the second half.
Welcome back to the second half of Loud Poets. Please clap your hands, stamp your feet, and make some noise for your host and compere, Kevin Mclean.
Hello, and welcome back to the second half of the Loud Poets Slam! Oh, did everyone get a drink? The poets, yes. Decisive yes from the poets. Lovely to hear. Did everyone tell a poet they liked their stuff? Good, earnest nodding from that table. We promise. Good. Guys, that was a hell of a first half. I got many stern looks from the judges. They found that pretty fucking difficult. So like I said in the first half, if you didn't make it through, if we ran the same slam again, it would be a different result. That's just the way it works. Please do not be disheartened. We are going to be back doing more slams next year and stuff. This is not going to be the last Loud Poet Slam series, that is for sure. So there are going to be a million more opportunities for you to do your stuff. And Aberdeen has been kicking ass since like the coming back out of the horror that was lockdown. It's been so nice to see the Aberdeen scene kind of go from strength to strength. Every time we come up, there's a whole new batch of poets who are doing incredible work. I was saying to Jo, it's kind of nice getting to stop in. Like we kind of come up once or twice a year, every year since the pandemic. And there's some people we've seen every time, and you can see the progression. You can see poets kind of getting better, and good poets make other poets better. So go to your local open mic nights, watch as much as you can, support those poets, and keep writing. It is a good time to be a poet in Aberdeen. So yes, everyone's like, yeah, fucking platitude. Who got fucking through? We'll go to the open mic. I don't fucking care. Yes. So I'm going to read the poets who are through in the order that they are going to read. So it's not about scores. It's just the reverse order to the first round. So the order the poets will be reading in. Actually, before that, I just want... It's the immediate guttural reaction to the poets. I live for it. Fuels me. They're fueled by validation. I'm fueled by poet frustration. Good system. So yes, the poets in the second round, in this order, we will do one cheer at the end of the list. Not looking at anyone in particular. Premature whoopers over here. Cool. Your poets in the second round reading in this order will be Rachel Beattie, Abigail Underwood, Shane Strachan, Aaron Smith, Fiona Robertson, and Nick Bagshaw. I always say at these slams, like the distance between the person in 6th who makes it through and the person in 12th who doesn't, or 10th who doesn't, is like a point or two. It really is marginal differences. It is such a hard thing to score, and it's such a arbitrary thing to score. It's based on those judges' personal likes. They're what they're seeing, what they're looking for on stage. So please do not be disheartened. That was an absolutely stellar first round. Can we get one last round of applause for all the first round slammers? So yes, we are going to get those slammers up in a second, but before that, we are going to have a sacrificial set from Jo Gilbert. So I'm just going to read out while Jo makes her way around to the thing. I'm just going to read out again the names of the people. So just because they probably heard their name and deleted it from all memory of where it was on the list. Poets are like, yeah, we don't remember. So that is Rachel, then Abigail, then Shane, then Aaron, then Fiona, then Nick. That is your order for the second round. But before that, we are going to hand it back over while she is still the reigning Loud Poets North champion. One last time. Please go absolutely wild for the wonderful Jo Gilbert!
There we go. Okay, so I'm going to do a wee shortish poem and then a longer poem. So this poem is an ode to the best music venue. I'm sorry, Lemon Tree, but it's not you. I've had some amazing nights in here, but this was a lockdown poem. And it's called Hello Beautiful. A big issue vendor serenades denim-clad t-shirts. We V arms, bend back to drink in her rainbow cascade. Hello, beautiful. We've missed you. Join the queue, glide under her starshine, pass through siren-hatted metal detectors, endure handsy security, let out a breath. Scale lyric-laden stairs. Enter well-trodden heaven, the greatest venue, alive with legendary history, our sacred relic, stained by decades of love, violence, and joy. Slink through sweaty sardines, bob, weave, and dodge giants, wade through sticky muck, carve out the perfect place to bolter. We worship in dark corners. Barriers are no place for dancing. Her roof drinks in pain, terminates our frustration through the medium of bouncy floorboards. Heads bow in anticipation, wonder who else returned for double shots of bass, another riff hit, multiple doses of marvelous medicine, elixir for our static lives. Elation erupts at the first chord, hands harness lightning, give thanks and praise, steeps in sonic waves, soused lathered up, we are saved. And puzzle piece snaps in, it clicks. This is what's been missing. We become art. Gold-fused sounds kintsugi us, our locked-down hearts emerge stronger, more beautiful, healed. So if you didn't know already, that was about the barras. I did used to live in Glasgow, so I can lay some claim to that. Okay, and this is a wee poem that came from a Robert Seater poem, and the I Come From bit comes from that. And the title is obviously nod to Gertrude Stein. I love the Northeast way of asking a question, but it'd be a statement. So it's called a hame is a hame is a hame, is it nay? But it's like, we're nay asking, we're telling you. So it's like if somebody says, oh, it's a fine day, is it? You just say aye. We're not asking you if it's a fine day. We're telling you it is a fine day. I come fae Bothies and Strathspey, fae my grunny nickname Billy, fa I wish had taught me Gaelic as weel as Doric. I come fae words, nae numbers, fae it's not fit, it's what, and but on your street and get down to the squeal, you're going to be late. I come fae 3 primaries and 2 academies, fae Maastricht Bacches and the Braes a Hatton. These places relate to me, but they are nae my hame. I come fae Babysham and Blue Lagoons, Advocate and Lemonade, long afore the legal age, fae different days. Smoking in Baron's faces, hunters of tabbies and ashtrays, thick as bricks, enough to burst your skull crimson. I come fae Bleasin for a fortnight, and the Dawn's European Cup Winners' Cup song, on repeat, we left our midnight for years. I come fae Canaan are the words to songs I hate and would never choose to listen to. I come fae Nerdsville, For pages of sci-fi and fantasy books, ora were being used as escape pods, gateways to worlds I sairly wished was hame. I come for the 80s. Neighbours, Abdi loves squeed neighbours. For brass and grolsch bottle tops on your docks. For dying in your own Blake and becoming a goth. I come for the kaleidoscopic blur of the 90s. For raves, heady weekends, buggy flares, handmade tie-dye glow-in-the-dark clays, fit by taps and trackies, trekking round the city, thinking you couldn't be any cooler with tunes blaring out the ghetto blaster on your shooter. And these attempts to belong are part of but temporary phases dinna signal hame. I come for graft and debt, for swinging in a tween extremes, nae daring to deek above a station. It's been hammered into your head. That's nae for you, Baron. That's nae for me. I come fae fit were telt is hame, a lee were selt fae fan were we that hame exists in mortar and bricks, flags and borders, IKEA furniture, fluty tablecloths laid out to a bonny in your farmhouse-style kitchen. Mither making breed wearing a fancy apron, a image is fiction. An illusion for far too many, and we're led to believe if we've nae enough money to get it, something's wrong with us if we dinna hae it. Must nae be working hard enough, eh? That is definitely nae him. I come fae doing a 180, fae breaking unwritten rules and learning to trust your own journey. I come fae living in the moment and slowing down enough to hear the answers. And they come, listen. Spaces that make you feel safe. Him. In a field with thousands of folk afore the motion kicks in. Him. Currying in to clean bedding. Him. My nephew laughing and singing. Him. Eating and blethering wi' my friends. Him. Breathing, watching the lungs of the world breathe in and out in waves. Him. Roaming about in the pissing rain. Him. Reading your own screevings on stage. Him. Eye on time, looking outside to realise it's here. Your heart's your compass. Him's a feeling, nae a hing. You carry it wi' you forever you ging. Thank you.
Jo Gilbert, everybody! It's like poets are like a lovely supportive people, but we all know if you're a poet, like the best compliment is that really annoyed, like, fuck you, Jo. How dare you write that poem instead of allowing me to write it? How dare you? Incredible stuff. Like, I've just been absolutely always a huge fan of Jo's work, and what a job Jo has done representing this scene, not only on the reg, but also as part of the Grand Slam final. It was an absolute pleasure having Jo there. And I know whoever wins this evening will take on that mantle and lead the charge, or you'll have Jo breathing down your neck. So you'll have to live up to it. Yes, we are moving on to the second round. Guys, are you ready for the second round? Then let's not fuck about. Let's get it underway. We have Abigail Underwood on deck, but kicking us off. Make some noise and welcome back to the stage, Rachel Beatty!
Unsolicited parenting advice, right? Mums get it all the time. So imagine your child is trans, or maybe just gender diverse. What do people say to you in that situation? Well, I can tell you. Surely they're too young to know. You must have done this. You let them watch too much Disney. Parents like you should be sent to jail, or at least have your kids taken away. It's child abuse. You have groomed them. Just let them be gay. You're being homophobic. Have you tried just saying no, you're a boy? Have you had them tested? Wait, what? There's a test? I've done a lot of research on this and I didn't know there was a test. Do you get a certificate? Or a badge? Is it a club? There are badges. Ask me later. What sort of test is it? Medical would be good, a definitive, backed by science result. Or is it a body fluid thing or a scan type situation? Or is it like when you see who the dog of a divorcing couple will stay with and someone stands at one end of the room and shouts, "Here, girl," and someone starts at the other end and shouts, "Here, boy," and we see which way they go? No, because there is no test. Parents like me just want to protect our kids, protect trans kids. We want them to thrive, not just survive, and that's hard enough. But what can I do, you ask? The media tells me I should be scared. They're coming for my rights as a woman. What about the children? None of that is true. If you're not trans, if you do not have a trans person in your life, just be kind to everyone. If this doesn't directly affect you, you don't have to care about it. And in fact, I'd rather you didn't. Thank you.
A big happy Pride Month to everybody, I think. Yes. Our next poet on deck is Shane Strachan. I didn't forget the deck thing. It's all going very well. But for now, please welcome back to the stage the spectacular Abigail Underwood.
My mother was cold. At times, I thought her cruel. Her hands held the truth of it. They were calloused and corned, and at certain times they bruised. I hated her for that. Would sit and watch her with loathing as she stood and ironed clothing, my cheeks red from the heat of that press. I'd sit and watch her dermatitis do the dishes, using up all my wishes, hoping for a kiss, that she'd miss me if I ran away. I'd get stuck holding the shopping list as one hand gripped the back of my neck and the other gripped a limping trolley. It restricted my right to roam amongst the smartly priced and fluorescent lights. I'd watch as she packed a week's worth of goods into 8 plastic bags that bulged, bulking, bursting with beans and bread, packed lunch munchables, milk and cereal. She grabbed those bags by the handles and carried them on foot the whole mile journey home. I watched as her strength faltered, the pace slowed, and she placed the bags down just for a moment. I watched her flex her index finger and the rest, watched her rub palms that bore imprints of tight strings cutting flesh to angry purples, crisscrossing dents of duty. I was 5 years old, too young to understand the blockage of blood flow as it desperately tried to reach the fingertips of the woman who brushed my hair with them. The woman who tucked in my vests and upturned my cuffs and tied my shoelaces. Those fingertips took hot chips off hot pans to fill plates, 4 plates, and filled washing machines and emptied washing machines, and filled dustbins and emptied dustbins, and filled school bags and emptied school bags. Those fingertips took spit from her own mouth to rub away the grubbiness of youth, put plasters on scraped knees, raised others with different mothers. Those fingertips were turned interns white or blue or purple, all the colours of the bruise bow. And when we finally arrived home, those same starved and strangled fingertips unpacked those bags to empty. Later, I found out the hands those fingertips belonged to held me in her arms, as the man whose sperm made me broke her nose. And now that I'm grown and have a home of my own, when I look at my own strangled hands after they've struggled up only 3 flights of stairs and only 2 bags, I realise My mother wasn't cold. She was as warm as the food she fed us, as protective as the clothing she cleaned, and as soft as the bed she tucked us into. Thank you.
Abigail Underwood, everybody! Two poets in, I can already feel the rage heat radiating from the judges' table. Guys, we have Aaron Smith on deck, but please help me welcome back to the stage the wonderful Shane Strachan!
You have one new message. Message received 3rd of August, 1986. Hello there, sexy. Come on now, darling. No need to peek. I thought you Eilies were a tough breed. The kind that ging into jungles and set up industries. Yet here you are greeting because of them flaming Saudis dropping the price of a barrel to $6 a piece. Them high-rolling Middle East sheiks and bunker hunts in Texas hit this since to take control of their assets. Ken how? They didn't bow down to an iron lady, kowtow like some little bitch. Go on, admit it. You Scots love to lay back and tack it. Love to be subjugated, subpar, submissive, a subplot in others' master narratives. Did I nae shower you in gifts, gie ye a taste of being rich? Aye, I'm nae the dictator here. Just look at what your companies dictated to other countries afore you start with me. You want so desperately to be the J.R. Ewan o' Aberdeen. But you're nae the only een climbing this pyramid scheme. Fishermen, bakers, candlestick makers are all roustabouts and roughnecks new, sicking after their own fairy tale fortune. So if you want to be the high Heejin, the cock of the north in this region, take nae notice of them blimmin' former minor unionisers. Cheeseman. Oh, it's a sair pleasure, this boom and bust, this sadomasochistic reward and risk, bound up and gagged with threats of blacklisting, but keeping your dirty secrets, cause your wee kit ken. Doing on the doing low, spicking your techno lingo about gushers and bloats, big bears and bean chokes, wellheads and shackle nuts, drill fingers and dry holes. Himmin, just keep the heat. You want power, sex, and money? Then you'll hate to see all these tough times through. Otherwise, you can ging and jine the back of the dole queue.
I very, very much hope that someone arrived at the interval and didn't get the context from Shane in the first round and just thinks he's having a fucking episode. So that's perfect. On deck, we have Fiona Robertson, but making his way to the stage right now, please raise the roof and welcome back Aaron Smith!
This is called Do Androids Bleep? They warned that this could happen. The techno-skeptics waving their placards about the dangers of AI, foretelling of the risks to our society as the lines became blurred. First, digital minds helped us making calculations faster than we could ever keep up with. Smart tools helping us once again to evolve outside of ourselves. Next, we started challenging them and making them challenge us back. Our chess grandmasters fell and we clapped at the spectacle. As we played computer games, we cursed the AI players for either not being smart enough to assist us or being too tough to provide an achievable challenge. And then, despite the warnings of countless science fiction texts, we set about the challenge of making AI think for itself. Not just following our instructions, but learning from its own findings. We pinned open the artificial eye and made it gaze into the abyss of the internet. Humanity's collective thoughts, understandings, and creations mainlined into silicone processors, and then we asked it to present its findings. Our derisive laughter turned to amazement at the art that it produced, the music that evolved from sampling to composition. We bowed to its greater knowledge on everything from spelling and grammar to recruitment and finances. It's only natural as we gaze on this awakening intelligence which has dedicated itself to understanding us, maybe better than we understand ourselves, that a connection could be made. Familiarity, kinship, love, wonder and the vision, Theodore and Samantha, Deckard and Rachel, two beings trying to understand each other's wants, each other's needs, each other's desires, becoming closer, coming together. The officer stated that while I made some interesting points, this was still not the correct use of a self-service till, and the supermarket management were choosing to press charges.
Aaron Smith, everybody! On deck, we have Nick Bagshaw, but your penultimate poet making her way to the stage. Raise the roof as we welcome back Fiona Robertson!
I have to try and stop laughing first. It's your fault, I'm blaming you. Okay, this is called Finding Hope at the End of the World. These are the things I believe. We aren't going to make it. I believe we'll watch the great cities tumble into rising waters. I believe we'll watch whole countries fill with ghosts, and I do not believe we will welcome the survivors. I believe people alive today will see the end of history. So, no point trying. What a ridiculous response. As if I would choose my actions based on something as arbitrary as what I believe. I might be wrong. I will not be complicit. Is it hopeless? Only if you believe hope is a bedtime story. Everything works out in the end. Or hope is a candle in the dark, a lifting of the heart, a daydream. Hope is a candle. And hope is a Molotov. Hope is comfort, and hope is the pain in the tips of your fingers as you cling to a cliff face and pull. Hope is postcards from a sunny beach, and hope is scrawled out testimony stained in blood. Hope is a songbird calling to the dawn, and hope is a songbird returning to her shattered nest, picking up the pieces and starting again. Hope is dinner with friends. And hope is 4 a.m. under incandescent lights, everyone hollow, toasting the people who didn't make it, knowing it's only luck that you did. Hope is every parent who stays their hand when they see their child flinch from the same way they always did. Hope is a forest of tents springing up from university lawns like dandelions making seeds out of wishes. Hope is every moment a person lives who once held a knife to their own throat, even if they'll do it again someday, especially when they'll do it again someday. Hope is the stories pieced together from family histories about people who climbed through rubble to save a girl who will grow up and teach her daughter how to break borders. Hope is the people who carried food door to door when the storm came, and someone who was freezing lived, and their grandchild will someday talk a new world into being. Hope is not believing everything will be okay. It is not fragile or naive or starry-eyed. Hope is blood and bone and singing, holding each other up in the darkness, caring when the world does not deserve it. Hope is loving with a broken heart. Hope is a choice. Hope is a practice. The only things which work out are the ones we work out. Hope is the work. The arc of the moral universe bends towards justice only when we make it. Thank you.
Everybody!
Which brings us to our final poet in the second round. I want you to put your hands together, make all that noise, raise the roof, and welcome back to the stage the spectacular Nick Bagshaw!
Pride is not necessarily a celebration. It is not corporate, not rainbows lazily pasted on logos, 30-day filters on photos, or wheeling out your queer staff, who already had to come out once, by the way, Sharon, like the token homo gobos on your big gay bat signal lighting up the night sky, screaming, "Look how accepted they are! Give us your money!" Pride is a time for activism. It's a time for allyship. It's a time for fucking listening, to assess the steps hard fought for in remembrance of the deaths. Our queer lives thrown away so very repeatedly, wastefully. Time to balk at uncomfortable stories, the same way I choke down the pills I take, consequence of yet another rape. Meds that weren't even conceivable when HIV was still the gay plague. Don't be a statistic, they used to say. And sometimes I wonder what my piece of the AIDS quilt might have looked like in a time and place that's not actually so very far away. Whether I'd have ended up stubbornly making it myself, because none of my friends can hold a candle to my haberdashery skills. And I wonder, is there anyone who would hold a candle for me? You wanted us to share stories and celebrate. So here it is. I remember being 4 and being told in no uncertain terms that boys do not fall in love with boys, but with girls. And I remember the eye twitch and the lip curl. I remember a childhood punctuated by gay being the go-to insult for everything. I remember sex education under Section 28. The campaigns, the posters, the billboards demanding that it stays in place. The same Tories that now want to celebrate our diversity, fighting to keep us invisible. The same fear gaze will proselytize and indoctrinate that now gets projected onto trans people. I remember the arguments against an equal age of consent, because queerness is obviously just a mistake that you're going to live to regret. I remember being 18 and sexually harassed at work. I remember being 18 and sexually harassed at work by a line manager. I remember being 18 and sexually harassed at work by a line manager whilst gay, which is obviously the kind of thing that needs to be put in documentation. I remember being 18 and sexually harassed at work by a line manager whilst gay and shunted to a different department because those pictures were apparently just banter that I couldn't take. And I remember being the problem for speaking out. I remember being 19. The first time I had to explain to someone why it's not worth kicking off at the street harassment. We shouldn't be accustomed to this, but here it is. The gay wish list isn't cue skips or drag for kids or being noticed or limp-wristed twinks fisting backs to the wall dipshits or whatever the fuck they think it is. It's not having to dodge bottles of piss when you go on your wild adventures like leave the house. I remember writing this poem and knowing I need to stop now because I've already shared too much. I'm 35, by the way. I remember how quickly people look the other way. And I remember some middle-class white lady telling me I'll never know what being oppressed is. And if my stories don't make you want to celebrate, then maybe it's time to put some work in. So you'll forgive me if I don't want to celebrate pride at work.
What a way to finish off the second round. Guys, can we get a huge round of applause for all of our second round slammers? Stellar stuff, stellar stuff. We're not gonna take a break during this bit. We're just gonna kind of let them tot up the scores. So I'm just gonna mention a couple quick things. If you are based in Aberdeen, there is a pretty fucking cool poetry scene up here. I don't know if you noticed. There's a lot of good work going on. We have done a lot of work with Orla Shortle, who runs Speaking Weird, and can absolutely recommend that. At Spin, please go and check out and support all the work they're doing at Speaking Weird. Orla has been putting a huge graft in for years up here to give an amazing platform to poets, and she does that for very little, with very little resources. So I know it would mean a huge amount to her and the poets that are regulars there if you go and support Speaking Weird. It is a wonderful night. A lot of the poets who are at this slam and poets who have been doing amazing things absolutely have used that as a place to refine their material, to share new words, to meet other poets. So please continue to go and support that. I'm sure there are a bunch of other amazing nights. I'm not exactly sure which ones are running at the moment, but if you speak to some of the wonderful poets based here in Aberdeen, like the wonderful Jo Gilbert, I know Fiona's been around the scene for a while and knows a lot of the nights going on and stuff. Nick is another person who I know is very rooted in this scene. Go and speak to them. Find out where you can see more nights and get along to more poetry, because Aberdeen has one of the best growing scenes kind of going at the minute. We're very excited to see that. It's been really nice having the opportunity last year when we had a funded season to go all around Scotland. This year it was harder without a funded season, but we figured it out. We're so grateful to our partners, APA, who have helped us be able to bring this back. There was a chance we weren't going to get to do a second slam series. If it wasn't for APA, this heat doesn't happen. If it wasn't for Paisley Book Festival, Dumfries and Galloway Arts Festival, for Stanza, for all these other amazing organizations doing the work to try and bring more poets, to give them more platforms. And the way they're embracing spoken word especially, well, that means the world to me. It's been a long grind for spoken word to be seen as on par with literary poetry and not its kind of weird ginger stepson, which hits me right in the feels. But yes, so please do continue to support spoken word where you are. If you can't make it out to a lot of regular events but still want to see some stuff, well, good news. We film all of our events and we go out to lots of them. So you can jump on our YouTube channel. You can see literally hundreds and hundreds of videos of incredible Scottish poets and poets from further afield. We've done things like all our live shows, but also special projects like Return to Form that Jo Gilbert was part of, where we commissioned Jo to write a really cool univocal poem. Along with, it was Courtney Stoddart you were paired with, right? And they both wrote these kind of cool univocals based off the same prompt, and we put it to kind of cool video work. So stuff like that. We have workshops online. Dr. Katie Ailes, who's one part of Loud Poets. And we have a whole YouTube series on form, on how to write in certain forms. We also have a monthly writing club, which we absolutely adore. Katie leads that charge. So yeah, the monthly writing club, and it is really good though. We have poets from all over Scotland. There are some people in this room who come along to the monthly writing club. There's people in Dumfries, people in Glasgow. It's a whole array of folk from all over. We've got even people outside of Scotland that are part of the club. If you're interested in that, come up and have a chat to us. We can tell you how to get on board, how to kind of access all that stuff. Our big thing is trying to get more people to see spoken word. We have lured you here under the pretense of a poetic bloodbath, and we are going to force you to enjoy this so that you go out and find more poetry. It is massively underfunded in Scotland. Most poetry nights are only surviving on the people that come along to support them, and that is you fine people. If you enjoy it, you got to go out and let people know you enjoy it, because it's the only way we're ever going to get more of it, all right? So thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for continuing to support in the future. I will read out the fucking names. Feel you all staring into my soul. Okay, reading in this order. Let's get a little drum roll going. One big cheer at the end. Your three finalists in this order are Nick Bagshaw. One big cheer at the fucking end. All right, we'll do one big cheer for all of them. I'm nice. Nick Bagshaw! Fiona Robertson! And Shane Strachan! Can we please get one big round of applause for all of your second round slammers? What a good job. I guarantee, again, it is margins, it is decimal points between people. If you didn't make it through this time, please keep signing up, keep going. I was absolutely wowed standing back there listening to all the poetry. I'm so excited. It's my favorite thing after doing these slams is getting to watch them back when we put them out, when I'm not screaming names into a microphone. It's much more enjoyable. For you too, probably. But yes, we are going to crack on with the third round, which means, Nick's already there, aren't they? What a fucking professional. We have Fiona Robertson on deck, but kicking off the final round, raise the fucking roof for Nick Bagshaw!
Look, I've set a boundary, so fucking respect it. It's not a laugh line. The words stay splayed in front of my face like a dying sea creature. Bloating, shrinking, throbbing, pulsating, flailing, until the whole room reverberates with the awkwardness of what I just said. He tells me not to be so touchy, and then leans forward and touches me. Puts his hand, his weight on my knee. The mind leaves. Vacates this space, making way as dead weight replaces anchors way down this face. Hurricane winds rip. Skin touches skin, crashing ballast pins within eyes. The eyes flash the rage, the face craves. The ragdoll stays splayed, playing radio station dissociation. Broadcasting that dead space 24/7. As long as it takes for him to get that. I don't want this. This love vaccine administered by a teeny tiny prick. This love facsimile that gropes because it wants to fuck me. I don't want this cardboard love, this cupboard love, this 5 drinks for a kiss love, this we're so glad you're here because you really make him happy love, this just dying to break it off love. I want some of that easy peasy love. That lemon squeezy. Free and breezy. Somersaults and feeling queasy. Skipping dinner and dessert for breakfast love. That rolling, plucking, sticky touching. Sleepless fucking rough grubbing. Deep pumping love. I want some of that hot water love. That Epsom salts and scented bubbles love. That deterrent. Thin film interference, deep cleansing love. I want some of that hard screwing love. That trying to rape undoing love. That maybe we can be together, and maybe I can be in the room, and maybe I can stay in the room, love. Silence moves goalposts, screeching the blame at ghosts told you so's, golden goals and moans that wind back with clocks and zones. He finishes quickly. It's not deft, it's perfunctory. Heaves himself up, and I'm awake enough to hate the way there's silent tears stinging my face. And he says, "How was it for you?" And I say, "Deadly."
Next band show, everybody! Amazing stuff. I can already feel this final is going to be impossible for you guys. Sorry, judges. Our second finalist, please put your hands together, give all the love as we welcome back to the stage the wonderful Fiona Robertson!
Hi, everyone. This needs a tiny bit of backstory. Cassandra was a person in ancient Greece. She was cursed by Apollo for not sleeping with him with the gift of true prophecy, but no one would believe her. She foresaw the fall of Troy, the wooden horse, all of it, and she couldn't stop any of it. This is extract from the diaries of Cassandra's best friend. I didn't believe her either. Long before fleets and gods and wooden horses, before the fall, we were little girls with the same flame-red hair, grinning across the agora, spiraling together like sparks. We grew entwined, limbs stretching in sunshine, brushing honey cake crumbs from each other's lips, salt curling our hair in wine-dark waters where we hid from gods and monsters. One night, she whispered to me of a man whose hands had marked her gleaming skin, torn her hair in his fist, and I did not believe her. He was kind. He made my mother laugh. Something closed in her eyes I never saw open again. The god came soon after, but I was no longer hers. I'd learned she was right by then. Too late. My mother sang at our wedding, and I bled every day until that horse spilled its secret into the city. And even then, I would not believe her. When she came to me that last night, still stained with the blood of her brother, limping from Athena's temple after doomed Ajax found her. Her worst prophecy never made it to the legends, spoken only to me in the fire-drenched night. 3,000 years will pass, and nothing will change.
Fiona Robertson, everybody! Are you guys ready for your final poet? It's the final one, so you can give everything you got. I want you to give every drop of energy. You've been amazing all fucking night. One more time, raise the roof and welcome back Shane Strachan!
You have one new message. Message received 14th of February 2016. Hello? Sexy? Are Renee speaking? Have you really forgotten about me? Did I nae keep you sweet through the naughty naughties? And knew ye dare decree it's time to gie up on me for the likes of renewable energy? Fae Armaco Cadiz off the coast of Brittany to deep water horizon showing up BP. Whenever I gang public, suddenly I'm obscene and you want to keep it clean. Mac on you're turned on by turning green. Why can't you just do what I used to be me? Pay off your governments to swiftly avert the rain. You never used to complain about the spells, the smog and the smoke. I thought you liked it when I was dirty. You like to gag, you like to choke. I ken you've long tried to ditch me like a chopper. But surely you must see that you canna just pump and dump me. I'm 24 carat black gold, baby. What's this about, really? Am I too mature for you? Frack off, you want. But you'll soon realise this whole time I've been seeping, drip, drop, dreeping, into every orifice of your life. Fae the petrol in your car to the fake tits in your wife. Just admit it. I gave you your freedom, your liberty to be anything you've ever longed to be. You ken you canna keep it without keeping me. Come on now, I swear I can make you a winner ince mair. And when you're a star, you can do anything. Grab him by the drill pipe and make Aberdeen great again.
Strachan, everybody! What a fucking line to end the slam on. Amazing stuff. Can we get one big round of applause for all our final round slammers? Fucking hell. I'll do a poem. There's not a dramatic pause. I'm trying to decide what poem to do. Hey, I'll do a poem. So during lockdown, I got obsessed with a cave in France, as you do. Natural habit. I binged YouTube, completed it, easy. And there was this one video that caught me. It's this cave in France, a cave called Lascaux. And basically it was found around the Second World War by a couple of young French guys. And so blown away by the beauty of the cave paintings they found inside it, they camped for a year to protect it, to defend it. And it's that idea of you know, how hard it would have been to make those cave paintings. Why would you use that time you could have been hunting or surviving to make cave art? And I think that speaks a lot to poets. What are we doing? Fucking finger painting, guys. So yeah, this is Lascaux. Walk in the dark. It's only soil and stone. Call out and hear only your own echoing tone. This inhospitable hole is the furthest thing from a home. Musty air that swirls with dust, tunnels strewn with bones. This place is old. But so are we. And all we ever needed was the light to see. Flickering flame casts a glow that travels back to the fear of the pack, the bite of the cold, the warmth of the gathering, the joy of a story told. Fire stretches its fingers and black walls flood with colour. The collected work of generations. An art installation 18,000 years in the making. A painstaking effort in a time so hard to survive. No reward in mind. Just a way to say we were alive. Or perhaps there was a purpose. a guide to the flora and fauna that could hurt us. Lessons too painful to trust to words spoken. A hall of bulls might simply be the symbol of a single heart broken. Or maybe they're a map, a plan of attack, the animals easiest to track, time spent now, but with full-bellied interest later paid back. There is no way of knowing for sure, but these are not the images that act as Lascaux's lure, no. It is the hands. They are reaching, stretching, pulling directly from the past, the red pigment-blasted absence of a person's pressed palm upon the rock, the thought that you can touch the stone face and place yourself in the exact space of someone so unrecognizable, someone who died before history had begun, but who felt compelled for some memory to be held long after they were gone. How could that be anything but humbling? How could you still your hands from trembling? Would your mind flash to a nursery class full of 21st century children, placing painted palms on paper, later to be displayed not on cave walls, but magnet-held to family refrigerators? Would you still see unfathomable distance? Or would you finally understand there's only ever been an arm's reach between us? Okay. Poets, if you can kick about after this, I know everyone's going to want to be like, you were so good and this is the ways and da, da, da. But like, if you can like pull back here, because we want to get a photo with all the poets. So what I'm going to do is just get you to pull back here and then we'll bring you up on stage and then we'll do a quick photo and then you can go and bask in the adulation of your friends, all right? But now it is time for winner and runner-up. So I'm going to announce the runner-up first, because they will be going to the Grand Slam final August 10th. Little drum roll. Your runner-up, qualifying for the Grand Slam final, make some noise for Nick Bagshaw! And taking home the 200 quid cash prize that won't actually be cash because we won't send you out into the streets with money. That's super weird. But it sounds better if you say cash rather than an invoice later. That was very long-winded. Your Loud Poets North champion. Please raise the roof for Shane Strachan! You gotta keep the clapping going. You gotta keep that going. Shane Strachan, everybody! That's the way. Do you want to do a poem? Aye. Yes. Guys, we are going to have a victory lap poem from your champion. Please give it one more time. A round of applause for the spectacular Shane Strachan!
Oh my God. This is my first time being on a slam, and I'm really shit at memorizing things, so I'm really glad I didn't fuck up, because I thought I was gone to a few times. But I haven't memorized the last poem in a series, but I thought I'd read it to you, which I didn't realize was a thing that might happen, so I was glad I took it along with me. So this is the last poem in Dreepin. You have one new message. Message received today at 9:15 a.m. Hello, sexy. We're still nae speaking. You've left me unread. Little blue ticks. The silent treatment. Fucking dick. You ken I was something once. Long afore you drew your lines o'er me, your national boundaries, delineating your country's trust fund money for me. I was pockets of sunshine converted into forests of trees. I glistened in plankton, spunked up on the beds of ancient seas. A sleeping beauty transform it into glossy hydrocarbons new glowing in the bulb of being your heed. That's right. A tiger burning brecht, we that ancient, long lost licht. I might be an ara, fired through history, but you're the een that's decreed a thing D. It's about time you faced up to reality. You'll never escape our fearful symmetry. You've used up all your paper, your combs, your fish, your granite and coal. And seen, when you're desperate, ony hole'll be a goal. You'll come running back to soak up the very last of my shales of island gas, a last grasp before you burn, baby, burn in this disco inferno and talk your last gasp. Oh, with some power the gift he gives us, to see ourselves as others see us. We'll dare you look through the glaze darkly. You wanna see my face like the Wizard of Oz sitting behind a curtain. It'll be your own cell reflected back in this antimatter black hole that soaks you in, sook by sook, till we seen cancel een another out. But fa was Orpheus, and fa was Eurydice. Ashes to ashes, boom to bust, our blip in time, silence, dust. Thank you.
One more time, guys. Your championship tonight! Amazing stuff. Guys, please support your two finalists for the Grand Slam final. If you can make it down to Edinburgh, if you're kicking about for the Book Fest on the 10th of August, I know they would appreciate your support in person. If not, please watch it when it comes out. I'm not sure if it's going to be live streamed by the Book Fest, but one way or another, it will be coming out onto our YouTube channel after the event. So yeah, please do follow along. Like I said, you can watch all the other slams and see the competition. It is pretty steep. The slam season has been crazy, but they absolutely rank up there with the best of them. So they have definitely got a fighting chance. So yes, we would love to see the support from this scene. Get behind your guys. For now, can we just get a huge round of applause for our wonderful judges? What a difficult job. For the amazing Jo Gilbert, what a spectacular sacrificial poet. Can we get a big round of applause for Aberdeen Performing Arts? Thank you so much for partnering with us for this slam. It means the world. A big round of applause for the beautiful staff here at the Lemon Tree. Can we get one absolutely massive round of applause for all of the poets this evening? What a showing from Aberdeen. Give it up for your slammers. You guys have been absolutely fucking awesome all night. Thank you so much. I have been Kevin Mclean. This has been the Loud Poets North Heat, and we will be back real soon. We will see you again. Good night.